Acquisition of Team Sorcerers here, now with a little bit more light, and yeah, as you may have guessed, I'm doing What If Wednesday episodes back to back here, but will still come out on Wednesday. Anyway, this one is about a classic robot from Robot Wars, Killertron, which has been around since Series 1, but missed out on Series 3. Now, what I'm going to talk about goes back to the mayhem battle it had with Splinter and Agrabot 3. Now, long-time fans will remember that Splinter went through to the first Annihilator in Extreme 1, and Killertron seemed to be unfairly eliminated. Killertron just... Killerlot picked Killertron up for, like, no reason, and dumped him in the pit. And nothing was done about it. Although, it is often said with fights that there are things that happen off-screen, so for all we know, maybe Killertron could have lost drive on one side and been counted out, but why would that be left out? Doesn't make much sense to me. So this brings me to the point of the video. What if Killertron went through to the Annihilator instead of Splinter? Because there was a point where Splinter was turned over by Agrabot and couldn't seem to get back up. I mean, I can't remember who knocked Splinter back on its wheels, but I don't know, it just seemed like Killertron would have easily won if Splinter was just left alone, while Agrabot still broke down. But if Splinter was turned back over and still managed to win, nothing changes. But let's go to the point of the video. What if Killertron went through instead? So if Killertron went to the Annihilator instead, it would have to deal with Pussycat, Hypnodisc, Exterminator, Thermidor 2, and Arnold A. Terminator. I mean, I guess the first fight would have been a lot of the same, but because Killertron is slow, it would have been slow to get into the action, although things would have played out in a similar way. Don't know if Hypnodisc would have been able to get to Killertron, but Hypnodisc still probably would have been ganged up on a bit by Thermidor and Exterminator. Now, it also does depend whether or not Thermidor would be able to get to Killertron and flip it over. I mean, based on the way Thermidor is designed, I'm not sure it would have been able to flip Killertron over. I mean, it probably would have almost done it, but then it would have just still been shoved around by Exterminator in the process. So I feel like this would still carry on until Thermidor 2 randomly breaks down. So yeah, I think Killertron would be lucky to survive this one. Then round 2, it's a bit more of the same, and Hypnodisc's disc doesn't seem to be working still at this point, but obviously in the real timeline it was lucky to get through, because its Exterminator then ended up randomly breaking down. So I feel like this still would have happened, would have although it would have been hard for Killertron and Arnie to get into the action a bit, but that's what I think would happen. So then round 3, Hypnodisc then breaks down like right away, and with no Splinter there, it would be down to Pussycat to push it down the pit, maybe, or just get counted out. So again, Arnie and Killertron are lucky to get through. Now round 4, this is a bit tricky to predict regarding how things would go. Pussycat would definitely be the strongest robot here. It would be attacking Killertron and Arnie quite easily, maybe doing more damage to Killertron than to Arnie. Of course, we have to consider the fact that Pussycat's blade does come off in this fight. So this could go 2 ways, whether or not the blade comes off or not. If it comes off and everyone's still moving and it goes to the judges, Killertron could be eliminated because of the amount of damage it took, and then the Annihilator final plays out the same way, so in which case nothing would change. Other than that, would Pussycat be eliminated? I mean, again, it depends how much damage it would do to Killertron. I mean, there might be some tiny slashes in the side of Killertron. I think that's all Pussycat could really do to it. It also depends how much Arnold A. Terminator would be able to do. I don't think it would have been able to flip Killertron over, just due to the shape of both robots. It would have been aggressive, definitely. But yeah, it depends on the extent of the damage that's done to Killertron. I mean, if the blade comes off and the damage isn't too bad, then all 3 of them would still be moving, and Pussycat would be eliminated due to the saw coming off. Which means we would have a completely different Annihilator final. Killertron against Arnold A. Terminator. Both of them not the quickest. I mean, I guess Arnie would try and lift Killertron a few times, but struggle a bit. I mean, whereas Killertron would just keep hitting Arnie with the axe, and maybe even pull Arnie over. And it would sort of carry on throughout the whole fight. Maybe even Killertron could even push Arnie a bit and maybe even tip it over. That is also something it would be able to do. And it also depends whether or not Killertron's axe would be able to damage Arnie. That's kind of hard to tell. I don't know. But I feel like if it went to the judges, Killertron would win it based on being a bit more aggressive and just swinging with the axe, managing to tip Arnie over, whereas Arnie couldn't quite flip Killertron over, whereas its own axe doesn't really seem to be able to do much damage. But yeah, this is my very best guess here. So yeah, this would mean that Killertron would have finally won something after not having great success in the main competition. Well, except in Series 2 when it made the grand final, but just had horrible luck, breaking down against Panic Attack and getting beaten by Roadblock again. Of course, I could also be wrong. Maybe Pussycat would still win. Who knows? Yeah, that's what I think would happen if Killertron went through to the first Annihilator in Extreme 1 instead of Splinter. But let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.